I'm supporting from afar, and you know my daughter Riley is going to be on a new show coming to Bravo, Next Gen. They just announced it last week. Yeah, so I hope you guys support my daughter Riley Burruss. Y'all seen her grow up on The Real Housewives, and now she's going to be on a new show. It's coming June 3rd, so check her out.
What tips did you give her about entering? I mean, obviously she's a part of reality television in the past, but to a different level.
Yeah, it's a different level, and so I told her, when you're filming, stand on everything you say. Don't ever go back and try to act like you didn't say something so they can rewind the tape on you.
Roll the tape.
You have to own it, stand on it. And if you need to apologize, but don't lie about saying stuff. Because we be having a lot of liars on those shows, you know. We don't want to be, no.
You won't believe what just came out about Kandi Burruss and her daughter Riley. On Real Housewives of Atlanta, fans have seen Kandi on screen for years. She always seemed confident and in control. But while all that was happening, something else was growing behind the scenes. Most people never expected this kind of family story. Riley, Kandi's daughter, was quietly changing in the background. While everyone focused on Kandi's drama, Riley was becoming someone no one saw coming. Kandi used to say, "I might be small, but my empire keeps growing." But Riley started out as a shy little girl. The crazy world of reality TV was too much for her to fully understand at the time. Fans often judged her. Cameras followed her everywhere, and being in the news wasn't always fun. Many people thought Riley had everything: money, fame, and a fancy life. But that's not the full story. Riley never wanted to be famous. She was just born into it. And that changed her in ways no one expected. As Kandi became more famous with each season of Real Housewives, she got more TV shows, more businesses, more success. But for Riley, that meant spending less time with her mom. This is where things get really interesting. In a recent interview, Riley shared something that surprised fans. She said there were times when she felt like no one really listened to her at home. Not because Kandi didn't care. Kandi was just always busy with her music, concerts, and businesses. Riley said she sometimes wished she had more of her mom's time, even though she admired how hard Kandi worked. The surprising part? Riley never told anyone how she felt back then. She kept it all to herself. As Riley got older, she faced something that many celebrity kids go through but few talk about. People online picked apart everything about her: her looks, her voice, her personality, and she was just a teenager.
It's been about a year since you announced you were leaving Housewives. Did you have any FOMO or regret knowing cameras were back up, or is it all that chapter is closed and you've moved on?
Actually, I feel like it's closed for me and I moved on. I thought to myself when I was first making the decision, I was kind of like, ugh, is this smart? Like, am I doing the right thing? And anytime you've done something for 14 years straight, it's kind of like hard to walk away from it.
Riley had to deal with what people thought about her, while other kids her age were just dealing with school drama. Because of this, her confidence took a hit. She said growing up in her mom's shadow wasn't just hard, it was painful. But this is where the story takes a turn. Riley didn't give up. She kept going. She focused on school and later got into New York University. At first, she planned to study nutrition, but later changed her mind and went into music instead. Riley said she wanted something different, but people still thought she was just following in her mom Kandi's footsteps. Riley made it clear she wanted to understand the music world her own way. She didn't want people to just see her as Kandi's daughter. She wanted to be known as Riley. This wasn't just teenage rebellion. It was about finally speaking up after staying quiet for so long. Riley opened up about the pressure of growing up with privilege. She felt like she had to prove herself every day. Even though she had everything, she didn't want to disappoint people who expected her to be perfect. But deep down, she didn't want success just because of her last name. For her, this wasn't just about fame anymore. It was about finding her self-worth, her real identity, and finally telling the truth. Fans couldn't stop talking about Riley's honesty. Some admired her bravery, while others thought she was being ungrateful. Just when people thought they had heard everything, new questions popped up. Was there something bigger going on? Or was Riley's honesty just a coincidence? Rumors started flying. It turned out Riley wasn't just speaking her truth. She was also getting ready to launch her own reality show. Once Making It in Manhattan was announced, everything started to make sense. Suddenly, her emotional posts and interviews didn't feel so random. People online began wondering, was Riley opening up about her relationship with Kandi just to get attention for her show? Was this all a smart marketing plan pretending to be personal feelings? Riley said no. She insisted she was just being honest and wanted to tell her side of the story. Still, fans noticed how perfectly the timing of her honesty fit with the promotion of her new show. And this wasn't the first time a Bravo celebrity's child used the spotlight to start something new. But Riley wasn't running from fame. She was stepping into it. Fans would now get to see a whole new side of the Burruss family as the cameras followed Riley's life in New York, her choices, her struggles. This time, Riley was in charge, not Kandi. That's when the comparisons really began. Fans started comparing Riley to other Bravo kids like Brooks Marks and Gia Giudice, celebrity children who made names for themselves. But Riley was different. She didn't just want to use her family's fame. She wanted to reshape it. Riley's decision to speak out changed everything. Fans started debating whether Kandi had gone too far. But what surprised everyone was Kandi's calm response. People expected her to be angry or defensive. Instead, Kandi handled it with grace. Even though some of Riley's comments were hard to hear, Kandi said she was proud of her daughter. She admitted that balancing work and motherhood was never easy. Instead of fighting back, Kandi turned the situation into something positive. And make no mistake, this wasn't weakness. This was a power move. Kandi had always been good at handling public attention, and her grown-up response made people respect her even more. But deep down, it felt personal. Riley was now out there, alone, sharing stories that weren't always pretty. Stories Kandi had spent years protecting her from. What shocked people most was that Riley didn't hold anything back. She talked about feeling lonely even when she was surrounded by success and the pressure to keep up a perfect image. Riley's story broke the idea that famous kids have it easy. The more people listened, the more they understood. She made it clear. Fame and money don't erase feelings of loneliness or insecurity. Riley wasn't just a side character in Kandi's story anymore. She was now the main one in her own. Her show would still show the glam side of Manhattan, but more importantly, it would show Riley standing tall, with or without her mom's shadow behind her. Riley wasn't afraid to share the messy parts. Even though she loved her mom, she was honest that sometimes she needed more than what she got. Just when people thought they knew the whole story, it became even bigger. Instead of dying down, the conversation exploded. Fans, bloggers, and other Bravo stars jumped in. Riley's words were everywhere online. Hashtags like Shams Riley Spills and Burruss Family Drama were trending. Social media became a war zone. Some people supported Riley for being real. Others accused her of using family drama to get more attention. But here's the thing. There was something deeper happening. People weren't just reacting. They were relating to Riley. One popular video showed clips from Riley's old Real Housewives appearances as a quiet little girl, right next to her bold, confident interviews now. The difference was clear. It wasn't just how she looked. It was her voice, steady and strong. Fans realized Riley had been quietly building her own identity for years, waiting for this moment. She had been watching, learning, and now she was finally stepping forward, not as Kandi's daughter, but as Riley. But this is where the drama really heated up. Some of Kandi's biggest fans started feeling torn. Why would Riley do this to her mom now? One person asked. It feels like betrayal. Speaking your truth is important, but some people felt like Riley's words were a bit harsh. Others quickly defended her, saying she was brave to share something that many kids of successful parents are too scared to talk about. You won't believe how Kandi first reacted. Even though she stayed calm in interviews, people close to her said there was real tension behind the scenes. Riley was openly saying that her mom's efforts weren't always enough, which went against Kandi's image as a super involved, hands-on mother. That kind of honesty really hit home. But instead of denying anything, Kandi admitted the truth. She did miss some important moments. She wasn't always there, but she always made choices that she believed would help Riley in the future. It hurt her to hear Riley say she sometimes felt invisible, but she respected her daughter for being honest. But here's the real twist. This wasn't just about family issues. It was about legacy. Riley didn't want to destroy what her mom built. Deep down, Kandi knew Riley was just trying to build her own piece of success. Kandi had done the same thing when she left her old group, Escape, to build her own career. It was like history was repeating itself, but in a new way. And then came the biggest surprise. In a rare, honest moment, Kandi admitted she used to worry that Riley might grow up to hate her. Not because she was a bad mom, but because of the pressure of trying to balance everything. She said there were nights she cried, wondering if she made the right choices. So, when Riley both praised and criticized her, it was emotional, but also healing. What made this story so powerful is that it wasn't about a fight. The world was simply watching a mother and daughter finally understand each other after years of growing apart while living under the same roof. Riley didn't just tell secrets. She opened the door, and Kandi chose to walk through it instead of closing it. But then something unexpected happened. Just when it seemed like everything was working out, the honest talks, the interviews, and the emotional moments, big news dropped. Riley was getting her own reality show called Making It in Manhattan. Yes, Riley was finally going to be the star of her own story after years of living in her mom's shadow. But here's what shocked people. Suddenly, some fans started to question everything. Was Riley's emotional story just a smart way to promote her new show? Was this all planned? Some thought the timing was too perfect. One person said, "This feels like a setup. I want to support her, but this seems too perfectly planned." But here's what made Riley stand out. She didn't back down. In an interview, she spoke directly about the rumors. She said, "I can't control what people say. They'll think what they want. I just wanted to be honest. I spoke up for myself, not for attention." After that, people started to see her differently. Riley wasn't just the daughter of a famous mom. She had faced real, quiet struggles, being body-shamed, constantly compared to her mother, and told to smile for cameras even when she didn't feel like herself. The show wasn't just about being famous. Making It in Manhattan wasn't going to be about glitz and glamour. It was Riley's chance to finally make her own space and build her own name, separate from the Burruss family. And the whole time, Kandi supported her. She even shared behind-the-scenes videos with proud and loving messages. For Riley and the whole family, this was a new beginning. And the most surprising thing? The very things that people thought would tear them apart, the public attention, the honesty, the drama, actually brought them closer together. People close to the family said that since this all started, their conversations have become deeper, more real, and more loving. They weren't just mother and daughter anymore. They were now two strong women, each with her own voice, learning to stand beside each other, not behind each other. What started as a public controversy turned into something much bigger, a story about growing up, family, breaking old rules, and finding your own way. Riley didn't just want to be seen, she wanted to be understood. Even though the world had already written a story for her, now she finally gets to write her own, with her own show, her own truth, and her own future. So, what do you think? Was Riley finally taking control of her life? Or did she go too far? Tell me in the comments.